Oh, I'm the ruler of ruler land, with oodles of rulers at my command. Those other kings, they love their troops.
Hey, it's Roland again. I know what you're thinking. It's not what I thought he meant when he said he had worms, so that's neither here nor there. You know what I'm really craving right now? Some nostalgia. It's been a while since I've relived childhood memories. And by a while, I mean like 5 minutes? I think it's about time we took a deep time-consuming stroll down memory lane, and since I have Nicktoons on the brain, I might as well stick to the theme. Let's do what all the cool kids are doing and talk about Nicktoons racing.
Now, I already talked a bit about the handheld ports of this game. They sure are a part of this universe. Not much else to say. I'm sure I would have appreciated them as a kid, but they just don't do much for me now. There's a port of it for arcades, which is pretty neat. I never seen one in real life, but I sure do want one. Nah, the version of this game I have fond memories of is the one for the good old personal computer. I definitely play more consoles nowadays, but I was raised on the PC. My first tango with video games was on my dad's chunky white desktop back before my life was tainted by long division. I don't remember exactly what the first game I ever played was. It was likely an educational game in the Jumpstart series. I may talk about those later, but I've always said the very first fully fledged video game I ever played was Nicktoons Racing. Kinda sad. It came in this Tunes Just for Kids 4-pack thing alongside the other 3 Horsemen of the Apocalypse. Rugrats in Paris, Cat Dog, Legend of the Something Something, and Pink Panther Pinks again or whatever. But Nicktoons Racing was always the best of the bunch in my eyes. It has a very special place in my heart.
Here's hoping I still own it. Let's go see if we can find it, shall we?
Ah, the relics of Roland past. Who knows what goodies we'll find in here? Now, I'm prepared to scour through every last box and tub until— oh shit, here it is.
Alrighty, let's get to playing this thing, shall we? My laptop doesn't have a disk drive.
Alrighty, now that I've given my computer a gallbladder, let's boot her up and waste a decent chunk of time.
Good afternoon, Nickelodeon fans and sports fans everywhere!
Oh, this is cute. The game boots up with this animated cutscene. So the story, as loose as it is, kind of makes sense. You have this mysterious figure hosting a race, inviting all the Nicktoons with devious intentions, and the award for winning is a lifetime supply of Krabby Patties and
The Krusty Krab Big Bun Award!
I won it. Oh my word. Now this brings back a flood of memories. I loved staring at this screen when I was 3, wondering what the heck a video game was. I love the characters manifesting just to drive over like 2 feet of road, the pulsating title, the obnoxious as hell sound effects. It's just perfect, in an incredibly outdated and annoying sort of way. So as this menu implies, there really isn't much to this game. You can play up to 2 players on a tournament-style cup race, time trials, racing for fun, relay race, which is exactly the same as regular race but with more characters, and bonuses that I guess we're just not cool enough for yet. We've actually got a really nice selection of characters here too. All the most important characters in the history of Nickelodeon. Where the f*** is Sheena? You can tell which shows were considered the heavy hitters at the time because they get 2 characters apiece, while poor Ickis is over here by himself. Tommy, Angelica, Arnold, Helga, Liza, Darwin, Cat Dog, The Angry Beaver, SpongeBob, Patrick. Wow, this was back when they were brand new. That's kind of wacky. It looks like all the characters here are only here because their shows were still running. The only legacy character we have here is Stimpy. It makes sense. The only other legacy character that I could think of that would be a good fit would maybe be Doug, but it's too bad he's dead. It really captures a time in the history of Nickelodeon in an interesting way. So this game came out in 2000, so Rugrats was the dominating presence on the channel for sure, but SpongeBob was gaining a lot of traction. You can definitely see the competing shows a bit. Tommy is slapped on the front of the box, but SpongeBob gets a lot of representation in the game since the plot seems to be focused around him and his universe. Anyway, let's pick a character. Can't be the mystery writer, of course, but everyone else is fair game. I just like going through each of them and seeing what they say. They're all just ripped straight from episodes, but I still like it. That is not Arnold. I think you will find that is Harold. Did you really just pull a random line from Hey Arnold and just say, sounds good, without checking to see if it was actually a line from the character you are signing the line to? Okay, whatever. I'm gonna choose Helga because I fear the consequences of choosing otherwise.
Contest.
3 cups, 4 races each, easy peasy. Let's get started.
3, 2, 1, go!
This is actually really fun. I'm sure my rose-tinted glasses are influencing the matter, but this is actually a very tight game. It's nice and fast, it feels delightfully frantic. It looks pretty good for the time, I love the music, it's actually pretty decent. It makes me happy. Now before we get into the meat of it, astute Nicktoons Racing fans will be quick to remind me that in my haste, I completely forgot to mention that there was one more port of this game. There's the PC one, the Game Boy Color one, the Game Boy Advance, the one for arcades. You could probably play it on your microwave if you tried hard enough. But there's one last official port that I haven't talked about yet, and there's a very good reason for that.
Because it's dog shit!
Take a good long look at the PC port. Take it all in. Are you ready? Oh, it's hideous! What'd they do to Arnold?
Yes, the good old PS1 port. I did not grow up with this title, but I have a history.
See, I loved the original game as a kid, but as I slowly started playing more console games, I wanted to see what Nicktoons Racing would look like on my TV. I do some research and find out that my prayers can be answered by getting it for the PS1. Wonderful. I buy it with my allowance money, pop it in, and bam! Depression. This is just horrible. The character models are lumpy, the whole game looks grainy, it's way slower, and the music and sound are horrible. Why are the music and sound horrible? This is the PS1, it's supposed to be better than that. I really have no idea why this port had to be so god-awful. I mean, conceptually, I guess I do. It takes a lot to bring a game from the PC to console these days. In the 2000s, it was probably torture. The PS1 is objectively less powerful, so you have to find as many ways possible to cut corners so you can get the full game to work, but there comes a point where you have to know enough is enough. Who in God's name saw this as the finished product and gave it the approval for publication?
There's my rant, let's move on.
So this game's native controller is the keyboard. You use the arrow keys to accelerate, turn and reverse, brake with right control, use item with right enter, boost with right shift, jump with backspace. Can you smell the claustrophobia? Luckily for us, they actually give us the option to modify the controls. All the inputs are shoved to the right side of the keyboard because the game supports 2-player gameplay, so the second player will get the left side of the keyboard. It's a nice thought, but it completely alienates the arthritic audience. Now, I was really surprised to find that there was an input screen for a controller, and it responds really well for any old USB controller, so that's pretty cool. Maybe I can finally get the console Nicktoons Racing experience after all. I got my controller all set up, let's give this baby a shot. Oh, I did something wrong! No, it's perfect. I'm pretty sure this is how the game was meant to be. Would you believe that I won, though? Okay, the controller's a bust. Even when I fixed that nonsense, it still made me drift all over the place. So I'll stick to the keyboard. It somehow feels more natural. I will move the item and boost buttons over to Z and X just to prolong my development of carpal tunnel. Let's have our first race, shall we? We start our journey on Reptar Raceway, and oh boy, the nostalgia's hitting me like a milk truck. It hurts! That music, that engine rev, that ground. Oh, it's the tapestry of my upbringing. I feel so giddy playing through this level. It feels like I've come home and everything just clicks. It's nice and open, which I will count as a blessing considering future tracks. It's got some secrets and alternate pathways to explore, but it's not too involved. It is a wonderful start, but damn is it boring. Aside from Reptar and Dactar here, this little loop doesn't scream Rugrats. It screams dirt. It's so bland. Why are we on a shoreline? What's this castle for? I get that it's a starter track, but come on, you gotta have more going on than this. It doesn't help that I'm on easy, that's for sure. You have to beat it on easy mode to unlock medium, and medium to unlock hard. I want to condemn it for forcing me to play through each race 3 times, but then I remember that Mario Kart does the exact same thing, so that makes it okay. But when you're playing on easy mode, you might as well be playing by yourself. You're gonna be miles ahead of everybody, including your main rival, the Mystery Rider. I'm pretty sure he's supposed to be the most challenging racer, but he isn't? If you didn't tell me, I just think my main antagonist was Tommy. So since you'll be in first for the entirety of the easy playthrough, the only items you'll be seeing are defensive items. You got slime, baby powder, kitty litter, and a trash can. They're all stuff you throw behind yourself for people to hit. Kitty litter spins you out, trash can slows you down, baby powder does jack shit, and the slime is so overpowered. It grabs hold of you and then slings you back. It's awful. And those are the main items you'll see. But here's a trade secret, and they're all worthless because nobody hits them. I would drop dozens of these things on my first lap and then come around and hit them myself because the computers are too good at dodging them. It doesn't even matter if you put them right in front of something important. Even if there's no possible way to dodge it, they find a way. So they're experts at the game, they're just slow. Something you might notice is there's no item that gives you any sort of speed boost, and that's because there's a whole boost system in the game, and it is ridiculously powerful. You collect these little crystals that fill up the meter at the top of the screen, then you press the boost button and you can just boost whenever. That's what puts you miles ahead of everybody, and considering the items can just stop you dead in your tracks for a really long time, it almost finds this weird balance. I wouldn't say it's on par with a more put together kart racer, but it's interesting. It makes the game stand out beyond just the Nickelodeon branding. And look at that photo finish! On to the next race. It's called Damn Prix, because of the beavers. And this is more like it. This track pops. I never watched much Angry Beavers, so I can't say whether or not it's a faithful adaptation of the world, but it looks neat, so I'm satisfied. This track is set up really intuitively, so you can string together boosts if you're clever enough. You grab a jewel, start boosting, hit a string of jewels just the right way to keep going. It is incredibly satisfying. Oh my god, Helga, you alright? You sound like an infant. I'm pretty sure my copy of the game is a bit old and busted. It runs like a champ, but the audio for the characters sometimes gets confused, which really only makes the experience better in my opinion. Race 3, Rancid Raceway. This is my end-all favorite music in the game. The level is pretty so-so. It's not bad, but there are some parts of it that don't even seem very well thought out, or maybe well thought out for the wrong reasons. For example, this turn right here. Every damn time I go through it, I always hit this little piece of wall that just juts out. And yeah, bad on me, I guess, for not turning tight enough, but why would this wall be here if not to trip players up? It's definitely partially my fault. In my entire playthrough, I never bothered to experiment extensively with the controls to see if I was missing something that would allow me to better navigate turns and stuff, but I never really needed to. I wasn't at great risk of losing if I hit a wrong turn. I would often hit turns aggressively wrong just in hopes that I would gather myself and keep going quicker than if I just slowed down to take it. I suppose I should mention the item you'll likely get most often when you're in first, this here force field ball thing. It does what you expect, it makes you invincible to all attacks while you have it, but I'm gonna let you in on a little secret. You can get the same effect through most other items, so you get invincibility frames after most attacks in the games. I suppose it's just to keep you from being bombarded with attacks, but sometimes they trigger for weird reasons. Like this item here is basically just like the Boo in Mario Kart. It nabs you a random item, I would assume from another racer, but when you use it, it plays this little animation that leaves you completely invincible to all attacks as well. And the same thing happens if you hit baby powder for some reason. So if you see an exclamation mark over your head, you can potentially make yourself invincible pretty easily if you have anything that can trigger invincibility frames. But if you took the time to optimize that strategy, I would remind you that there's much more to life. Moving on, we have finally reached the last race of Cup 1, Bikini Bottom Blowout. This is the best track by far. I'm here and it instantly feels like SpongeBob. You go through Squidward's house, Goo Lagoon, Jellyfish Fields. This is the composition of set pieces that I was expecting for the past few races, not just two things that generally give off the vibe of the show they're from. A damn good track if I do say so myself, and we finished strong, a perfect cup. Take that, fetuses, I win!
That was weird.
Cup 2 time. First up is Race Madness. Pretty sure this is the Ren and Stimpy one, and it sucks! Kinda. So I won't bullshit you. This game has had a certain level of ordure to it so far. I still love it, and I think it's better than it has any right to be, but it's not the best when it comes to the marriage of control and track design. You want the control to be fluid and intuitive enough for the player to feel in control, while the track design complements the acceleration, turn, drift, or what have you, the goal being to challenge the player without being unfair or having them lose their sense of control. Nicktoons racing gets so dang close, but it's just not there. Some of these tracks are too damn picky. I like the kart handling, but it's about as agile as a fish on a stick, you know what I'm talking about. Some of these turns you'll never be able to make unless you already know they're coming, and even then you may have a hard time. Enter Race Madness, the mutilated runt of the litter. It's so not fun, I died. There's this tunnel section where I swear I cannot go through it without wildly drifting to the edges of the road and getting caught on the set pieces. There's this battle zone area with these boxes you gotta weave through, and this damn turn here is absolute hogwash. Hogwash, I say! I cannot get it. I always slam into this corner, which is exacerbated by the fact that when you hit a wall, especially a corner, your character will often turn directly into it. Again, you have this ridiculous boost system, so it's never the end of the world, but I can't help but feel like they could have designed it a little bit better. Come on, guys, I just want my bad games to be good. I can't have that. The Beaver Fever is a bit better. It feels like just more damn pre, which is kind of boring, but it's a lot more fun to traverse than the last race. Not much else to say. Nürburgring Rally is another cat dog one, and I like it so much better than Rancid Raceway. I don't know why, it just feels more like I'm in the show. I really like this track. Oh, I let my guard down. That's embarrassing. Oh well, no shame in coming in second, I suppose. Well, okay, f you! Nicktoons Racing gives it to you straight. You get first, you're the golden child. You get anything else, you might as well be dead. We close off with Safari Speedway. I have a lot of nostalgia tied to this track specifically. I sure wish I knew why. I like this little bit with the ramps filled with boost pads. That's fun. And this game does get the sense of fun down really well sometimes. All things considered, I'm having a blast. Let's finish strong. Cup 3, Monster Mania, pretty good. Pickles Parkway, not too shabby. Gritty City Circuit, fun times. Bongo Bang Up, go f yourself. This last level is bonkers. The turns are so tight I gotta slow down to a crawl. If you hit the ramps wrong, you could just fall to your death, and it just doesn't feel like this one was meant to be played. Oh, mama, I'm coming home! Nah, this one isn't terrible. It's just hard as sin. And sinning's easy. I don't want my ego threatened here. Let's just say I crushed it. And that's the game. We've done it. Now let's see who the mystery writer really is.
Well, the mystery was Plankton all along.
What? No, you could have guessed. They did such a good job hiding it. I barely even knew they used direct voice clips from him.
Come back here, you swine.
So we did it! We beat all of Nicktoons Racing. Now we can actually start playing the game. Once you unlock medium, this starts feeling a bit more like a fully realized kart racer. Everything feels more high octane, you have to actually pay attention to your opponent, it's so much better. That, we finally get to experience the rest of the items. Got a log that incapacitates all players in front of you, got a jellyfish that targets the player in front of you, the bubble which does not work, and this portal here that I got in first place one race and it teleported me to the back of the race. Aren't I so chipper? And we finally unlocked the mystery rider. He's kind of a fun novelty, but I really wish they'd pop the cover off him so we could actually see Plankton as we're playing as him. That would have been a nice touch, but it's fine. We clear medium and face the true challenge, caring enough to do it on hard.
Don't get me wrong, I still love this game and I will defend it to the death, but I just don't think the tracks are nearly solid enough to justify a third time around in rapid succession. But I am bound by duty and the court, so I guess I'll do it.
Alright, I get it. This is ridiculous. You have to have a near perfect understanding of these damn tracks just to rank. And mind you, if you do not rank high enough, you cannot move past the race you are on. Did they think kids would care enough to do this? This is absolutely putting me through the ringer, and boy do I feel alive. This is rigorous, this is engaging, and it's actually kind of fun. It's infuriating. I do not recommend it, but I'm having a blast. That is until I realize that the mystery rider has maxed out stats, and I'm pretty sure it just goes faster than everyone. If you want to win on hard mode, just use him. Well, you robbed me of my fun at the last minute. Thanks a bundle, I almost got a taste of happiness. Let's see what those bonuses are all about. Single player gives us big city cleanup. You go around collecting presents. Okay. Multiplayer gives you a Rocket League-esque game where you play soccer with a beach ball. It's actually kind of fun. If only I had someone to play it with.
Can I play?
No.
Can I play?
No.
Can I play?
No. No.
So that's the end of it. The journey of Nicktoons Racing comes to a close. The question remains, is it worth the time? Yeah, I think so. At the very least, give it a shot if you grew up around this time. It's a fun trip down memory lane. It's not the hardest game to get your hands on, just do not go anywhere near the PS1 port. I'm glad I got to talk about this old thing. I love the look of this game, the sound of this game, the not good of this game. It scratches a very specific itch for me that no other game can. It feels like home. It was my first game ever after all. It's your fault I'm like this. I will warn you, the problems here are glaring and will only get worse the more you play it. Most of the tracks are either boring or unfair, the carts aren't nearly as nimble as the game wants them to be, and I can't deny the overall package is quite dull. The cloud of nostalgia kept my interest all throughout, but even then, I had moments where I was gearing up for a race and had a twinge of desire to just stop playing. But you can't change what your first game was, and honestly, I could have done a lot worse. So, I thank you, Nicktoons Racing, for your role in my development.
If you can find a copy for cheap, pick it up. It's worth at least one go through just to see what you think about it. And now I've finally done it. I finally talked all the way through Nicktoons Racing. Let's see what I win. Oh man,